Sāvakāya ca dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Sāvakāya ca dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Avatāravadishthāya Ramakrishna te namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to make our spiritual life successful, to lead us forward in our journey to reach the goal, to realize God in this very life. Let us pray to Him wholeheartedly, sincerely, to remove all ignorance, let us pray to Him to conquer death. Sri Ramakrishna has been telling that one should cultivate love towards God, cherish Divine Mother in the heart, go within. Sri Ramakrishna is pointing to us. Are you seeking God? Then you have to go inward. You have to become completely indrawn. No more distractions. No more temptations of the world. In order to do that, we require detachment. It's only when you are detached from the things around you, then it becomes possible to go within. Sri Ramakrishna said, there are two ways. One is nivritti, the other one is pravritti. What is nivritti? It is inwardness of the mind. If your mind is inward, then you are following the path of nivritti. Pravritti means mind going outward, hopping from one object to the other, inclined to all sorts of pleasures of the world. Sri Ramakrishna says, nivritti alone is good. and not pravritti. Somehow you must try to turn the mind inward. To make the mind inward so that it could reach Paramatman, the Supreme Spirit, the universal consciousness. Detachment should be firmly established. It is very important. If you are not supported by detachment, mind slips down. Mind slips down. You will lose all control over the mind. So, it is very important to practice detachment wherever you are. A spiritual aspirant, therefore, must learn to detach himself even from the virtue. A spiritual one is different from a merely moral person. There are many people in this world who are moral, may not be spiritual. Firstly, a person who is simply a moral one may not seek the higher form of existence. He seems to be contented with good life, good neighborhood, essential comforts. He is attached to his own good thoughts and good actions. There are people who love to go to the library in the university, spend time reading books. I have seen, while walking near the lake, an old man sitting on a stone bench reading the book. He is supposed to walk, but he is reading there sitting. Not one day, whenever I go for a walk, I am seeing him. The dog is resting, probably it is sleeping also. The old man is reading the book. There are many people who spend time like that, reading books, leading a good life, no doubt. He is attached to his own good thoughts and actions. Swami Vivekananda said, in Complete Works of Vivekananda you can find what he had said. What are you but mere machines until you are free? Should you be proud because you are good? Certainly not. You are good because you can't help it. Another one is bad because he can't help it. So goodness and badness depend upon samskaras, the impressions. A good man is one who is controlled by good samskaras. A wicked one is one who is controlled by bad thoughts. So virtually we are being controlled by impressions, strong impressions in our mind. A life which is controlled by samskaras even if they are good, is not free. It is not free to seek higher fulfillment. Consciousness has different dimensions, and a life that remains at a lower level of consciousness is undeveloped and incomplete. Such a life has missed the joy of spiritual adventure and the joy of rendering spiritual service to humanity. Secondly, the merely virtuous person is not free from sorrow, he is not free from fear. A person who remains at a lower plane of consciousness is not in the first place free from desires, even if these are good ones. In the second place, not having access to the spiritual joy associated with higher consciousness, he has to depend exclusively on his psycho-social milieu for the satisfaction of his desires. Since this environment is constantly changing and he has no control over it, many of his desires must needs remain unfulfilled. He cannot therefore remain unaffected by frustration and sorrow. As a matter of fact, good people, being softer and more sensitive, suffer far more than bad people. Nor does conventional morality guarantee freedom from fear. There's a famous verse in the Vairagya Shatakam composed by Bhartrhari. They are very wonderful verses, have deep spiritual meaning. He says, Bhoge roga bhayam, kule chuti bhayam, vitte nrupalad bhayam, mane dainya bhayam, bale ripu bhayam, rupe jaraya bhayam, shastre vadi bhayam, gune khala bhayam, kaye kritantad bhayam, sarvam vastu bhayan vitam, bhuvin rinam vairagyameva bhayam. This particular verse has tremendous meaning. The meaning of this verse, which I just chanted, is in enjoyment there is a fear of disease. In social position, the fear of falling. In wealth, the fear of hostile kings. In honor, the fear of humiliation. In power, the fear of enemies. In beauty, the fear of old age. In scholarship, the fear of opponents. In virtue, the fear of scandal mongers. In body, the fear of death. Everything in this world is followed by fear, 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 fear. Then detachment alone leads to fearlessness. So you must know how important it is to cultivate this value of detachment. The cause of fear is clinging to the mind, which Patanjali says is found in the learned and the wise. Swarasavahi vidushopi tatharudhopi niveshaha. Abhinivesha. That means clinging to life. As long as your clinging tendency towards life, you are bound to be fearful. The cause of this clinging is ignorance. Ignorance cannot be removed by virtuous conduct alone. Only true knowledge, resulting from the realization of the higher self, can free one from fear. Only realization can remove the fear. When King Janak, the great king, attained the highest knowledge, his teacher Yajnavalkya told him, "Well, Janak, you have attained fearlessness." The master is telling the disciple, "Abhayam vai Janaka praptosi." So it is clear that morality is not an end in itself. The value of a good and virtuous life is that it provides a firm foundation to build one's spiritual life on. You have to build your spiritual life. Virtue and goodness detach a person from the hold of vice and lower tendencies. A spiritual aspirant must learn to detach himself even from good conduct and good harmless thoughts, because he aims at higher freedom, which is beyond virtue, beyond vice. But it often happens that virtuous people are more attached to their virtues than wicked people are attached to their wickedness. Lord Buddha, Lord Christ, they found it easier to turn social outcasts, sinners, and fallen women towards God than Pharisees and Pandits. Sri Ramakrishna, if you take his life, you find he found it easier to transform Girish, the most sinful person on this earth, as he himself declared, than some of the orthodox people who regarded Sri Ramakrishna as mad. Orthodox people. That means they are very strict about their conduct and behavior, about do's and don'ts. Sri Ramakrishna found it difficult to transform those people. He would rather find easy to transform the most sinful person. The famous Voltaire has made a statement, "God save me from my friends, I will take care of my enemies myself." Though he intended as a joke, it contains an element of truth. A good deal of our troubles, a good deal of our sufferings are caused by our attachment to our friends, our attachments towards our relations, For their sake we undergo no end of hardship, sacrifice and suffering. When they take liberties with us, we are unable to protest. And when they neglect us, we feel deeply hurt and miserable. Our difficulties increase when our love for others conflicts with our sense of duty, as happened to Arjun before the great battlefield. What then is the way for us? How to resolve the conflict between love and attachment? The Bhagavad Gita suggests two solutions to the above problem. One solution is renunciation and sacrifice. The total renunciation of all external relationships and all types of activities in the world. It means cutting asunder human relationships and going beyond the pale of all social obligations. Evidently, this is an extreme step which can be taken only by a very small number of people. How many monks you can find in the whole world? Very few compared to the population. For the others, what is the way then? Is there no hope? There is hope. Lord Krishna says, it is tyaga, which means karma phala tyaga, meaning giving up the fruit of one's actions. Though this may appear to be easy to practice, it can be successfully practiced only by those mature persons who have understood the meaning of true love. Love is one of the noblest of virtues. Lord Christ identifies love with God Himself. It is indeed a universal unifying principle which governs the rhythms of life. At the human level, it sanctifies all relationships and sustains the harmony and solidarity of social life. It enriches and ennobles an individual's life and gives meaning and purpose to his activities. So noble and essential, a principle of life cannot and should not be neglected in any scheme for the solution to the problems of life at any stage. Swami Vivekananda said, again, there are people who are never attracted by anything. They can never love. They are hard-hearted and apathetic. Swami Vivekananda's words I am quoting. They escape most of the miseries of life, but the wall never feels misery. The wall never loves, is never hurt, but it is a wall after all. Surely, it is better to be attached and caught than to be a wall. We do not want that. That is weakness. That is death. If love is the noblest of virtues, how can it at the same time be the cause of misery? Because we find in this world so many things happening In the name of love, so many heinous crimes are being committed, so many murders are being done. How to understand it? The answer is, what we generally call love is not true love. Then what? It is usually an alloy of love. Selfishness, greed, and sense pleasures. They are all blended. Alloy of love, not a true love. What you find in this world is alloy of love. How? Swamiji proceeds to answer. Not by what we give, but by what we expect. We get misery in return for our love. We get misery in return for our love. Not from the fact that we love, but from the fact that we want love in return. There is no misery where there is no want. Desire, want is the father of all misery. True love doesn't expect anything in return and frees the person from selfishness. A person who is selfless alone manifests true love. Lord Christ, Lord Buddha, Sri Ramakrishna, all incarnations, all spiritual masters. They love everybody. Holy Mother used to say, all are my children, good, bad. Both of them are my children. See that conception. That is a true form of love. She has no distinction. She loves them all. Love for love's sake. That is true love. Sri Ramakrishna explains this in a different way. In the Gospel, he says, impure love is Maya, and pure love is Daya. There is a great deal of difference between Daya, compassion, and Maya, attachment. Attachment means Maya. Compassion means Daya. Daya is good, but not Maya. What is Maya? It is love for one's relations, one's family, one's children, and so on. But Daya is the same love for all created beings without any distinction. You love everybody, not only animate, even inanimate. You love grass. You love everything. You love birds, you love plants. Again, Maya entangles one and turns him away from God. Whenever you find you are not finding any taste towards spiritual life, that means your neck is held by Maya. You are under the full grip, control of the Maya. You cannot be free as long as you are controlled by Maya. It's only through Daya one realizes God. So, what is true detachment means? It means detachment from one's lower mind. In the name of detachment, it is possible to remain callous and insensitive to the feelings of others. Such people though detached from others, are deeply attached to their own lower selves. In the name of detachment, it is also possible to cultivate dislike and hatred for others. But you must know, hatred is only the negative expression of attachment. Where there is hatred, there is no detachment. A truly detached person feels neither hatred nor infatuation. It doesn't feel infatuation. True detachment does not exclude pure unselfish love and compassion. As a matter of fact, it's only those of detachment, the spiritual ones, who can truly love others. It's only by being spiritual you can love a person truly. All the rest only love themselves. The attitude of a detached person towards others does not depend upon their attitude towards him. His sole concern is the welfare and happiness of others. Be happy. That is always his prayer. Furthermore, he sees to it that nobody gets attached to him. He always tries to turn the mind of all towards God for their higher goals of life. So many things are there to understand, to live the spiritual life properly. Then only you will achieve the result. Of course you have to struggle to understand, struggle to practice. If you struggle sincerely, you will feel how God's grace is flowing upon you every moment. And you feel you are marching onwards. Try to correct yourself thoroughly. That's the way to go towards God. Page 520. There is an ocean of difference between a real, all-renouncing devotee of God and a household devotee. A real sannyasi, a real devotee who has renounced the world is like a bee. The bee will not light on anything but a flower. It will not bring anything but honey. But a devotee leading the worldly life is like a fly. The fly sits on a festering sore as well as on a sweet meat. One moment he enjoys a spiritual mood, and the next moment he is beside himself with the pleasure of lust and gold. A devotee who has really and truly renounced all for God is like the chatak bird. It will drink only the rainwater that falls when the star Swati is in the ascendant. It will rather die of thirst than touch any other water. Though all around there may lie 7 oceans and rivers full to the brim with water. An all-renouncing devotee will not touch lust and gold. He will not keep lust and gold near him, lest he should feel attached. Others said, But Chaitanya too enjoyed the world. Sri Ramakrishna amazed. What? What did he enjoy in the world? Others said, scholarship, honor. Master, it was honor in the sight of others, but nothing to him. Whether you, a deputy magistrate, or this youngster Niranjan honors me, it is all the same to me. And I tell you this truthfully, the idea of controlling a wealthy man never enters my mind. Surendra once said, rather condescendingly, that Rakhal's father could sue me for letting Rakhal stay with me. When I heard this from Manomohan, I said, who is this Surendra? How does he dare make a remark like that? He keeps a carpet and pillow here and gives me some money. Is that his excuse for daring to make such an impudent remark? Other said, I understand that he gives 10 rupees a month. Isn't that so? Master said, that covers 2 months' expenses. The devotees stay here and he gives the money for their service. It is he who earns the merit. What is that to me? Is it for my personal gain that I love Narendra, Rakhal and others? Master Maharshi said, your love for them is like a mother's for her children. Master, but even behind the mother's love lies her hope that the children will support her later on. But I love these youngsters because I see in them Narayana himself. These are not mere words. To other he said, listen, there is no scarcity of moths when the lamp is lighted. When God is realized, he himself provides everything for his devotees. He sees that they do not lack anything. When God is enshrined in the heart, many people come forward to offer their services. Once a young sannyasi went to a household to beg his food. He had lived as a monk from his very birth. He knew nothing of worldly matters. A young daughter of the householder came out to give him alms. He turned to her mother and said, Mother, has this girl abscesses on her chest? The mother said, no, my child. God has given her breasts to nurse her child when she becomes a mother. Thereupon the sannyasi said, then why should I worry about myself? Why should I beg my food? He who has created me will certainly feed me. Listen, if a woman renounces everything for her paramour, she can say to him, if need be, you wretch, I shall sit on your chest and devour you. Nangta told me of a certain king who gave a feast to the sadhus using plates and tumblers of gold. I noticed in the monasteries at Benares with what great respect the abbots were treated. Many wealthy upcountry people stood before them with folded hands, ready to obey their commands. But a true sadhu, a man who has really renounced everything, seeks neither a gold plate nor honor. God sees that he lacks nothing. God gives the devotee everything that is needed for realizing him. We shall stop here. Now, any questions to ask? Any difficulty in the practice of detachment? Yeah. Coming in contact with holy people, coming to the chapel on many weekends as possible, not only on one weekend, and getting acquainted with spiritual ideas more and more. Learning is very important. You have to learn. So, you have to first of all understand the anatomy of detachment. Threadbare. You must find out what it is. Whenever you are in misery, whenever you are in suffering, you must analyze thoroughly. Find out the cause. Then practice the spiritual values. Fix the goal. Then you will be able to direct yourself properly towards that goal. Take these spiritual ideas, practice them sincerely, without giving any reasons, without allowing any concessions. The more concessions you allow, the more danger of slipping down from the spiritual path. The danger is always there. The more you go high up, the more the path becomes narrow, narrow, narrow. The more you go upwards, the more and more you must be careful. Till you reach the goal, you have to be careful. Once you reach the goal, there is no more fear. Abhayam prapnoti. You will get fearlessness. That's why you see all God's forms, one hand is like that, granting fearlessness. The moment you realize God, you become fearless. That is the test of your realization. You are afraid of nothing. So, attachment, detachment. Attachment entangles you. You come under the control of Maya. So, whenever you feel you are chained by various types of attractions and things of the world, the more you turn toward them, the more you become involved and entangled and lose your balance. So, constant association, coming in contact with spiritual masters, spiritual teachers, coming with devotion, coming with love, coming with humility. Humility is very important. Without humility, without humbleness, you can't move one step forward in spiritual life. One step you can't go. You have to be perfectly humble. Perfectly humble. To practice it, you don't have to be threatened, you don't have to be frightened by it. Oh, is it ever possible? It is possible. It should be possible. It has become possible for every spiritual masters. Why not for us? If you practice it, you will have the result. Practice it properly, you will have the good result. Practicing properly is important. Practice it without distraction, without absent-mindedness. Be wholly concentrated on what you are doing and do the things. That's the way. Always keep the mind analytical. Don't jump to bite others. Abusing others means biting others. Why should you bite? Why should you hurt people? Don't hurt. Never hurt anybody, even if they are at fault according to your own standard. Even if you see they are faulty, even then, never abuse. That's a spiritual quality again. If you have that ideal, instead of abusing 20 times, you may abuse 10 times. Afterwards, that also.
Does it mean that coming in contact with a spiritual guru and master and finding the path of realization is also, it's this time and it's going to occur at a given time in the life of an individual?
That is, in one way, everything happens in its own time. That's one way of interpretation. Everything happens by the will of God. Good. If you hold on to that, don't question anymore. Live the life properly, then everything will come at the correct time. Telling that, but living the life improperly will not work. And, of course, we get these bodies on account of our own the resultant force of impressions which push us to take a particular body in order to do the things which we wanted them to do, which we wanted them to achieve. So we take the body. Body comes for different reasons. Body is given with the idea we may do spiritual sadhana, do some practice. Body is nothing but a vehicle. You need a vehicle to move about. Without vehicle, how can you go? How can you go? So body is your vehicle. Use the vehicle properly. Use this vehicle to go towards God. That's what is meant. So, always you will have two portions of the mind. One is always giving you the idea of goodness, everything. The other one always pulling you down. So there are two minds distinctly you can feel always in your subtle body. Make the good mind more and more strong by engaging yourself in good activities more and more. That's the way how to establish yourself in the quality of goodness. But then you have to transcend even that goodness. Don't be satisfied just being good. Rise above even goodness. Then you reach the goal. That's the idea. Any more question? Do you have?
Personal on meditation.
Yeah.
Maybe a tail comes up around here.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes the whole head gets filled up with something.
Yeah.
Now where is the fault and how do we overcome it?
But that you have to, I don't know what method of meditation you are following. Who is your teacher?
It's Ramchandra.
Ramchandra. Where?
Sharyam.
Oh. Is he still alive?
No, it is another master from Madras.
Oh.
Rajgopal.
I see. I see. But you have to ask your guru, because the reason is every meditation has got its own specifics. The guru teaches you how to start your meditation, in what manner, etc. And in a particular instance, the guru can help you clearly. Because whatever we may say, it's all general. Sometimes the pain comes because of the stress, because of the strain. The body cannot bear the strain of concentration. So you may get the pain. That's one reason. One reason. There are many reasons like that. And another reason is, if the Kundalini power rises, you will get pain. If the spiritual power rises, it cannot contain that energy. It has no strength, it has no capacity. So you get the pain. It's also true. And sometimes if you do long hours of meditation, you may get pain. So, you have to figure it out one by one. Is this the reason? Is this the reason? You have to discard like that, and you have to find out yourself what's the way. Actually, meditation is to be done in a highly relaxed way. Highly relaxed way you should do meditation. Meditation means it's a high state of relaxation, not straining nerves, frowning face like this and no. Relaxation doesn't mean you must sleep. Relaxation means total detachment from the outside world. Just completely turning inward and resting yourself peacefully on the object of meditation for sufficient time to be there peacefully in a highly relaxed way. You have to practice it from the beginning that way, then only you will be able to.
I was told by Master to avoid this point.
That's also true.
And today only I happened to read in a book that when you are practicing it, in certain portions there are stars, temples, your pain.
Yeah,
And
they do happen.
I happened to find out today only morning it happened.
Yes.
That if I am looking at the thing, little behind or from this area, pain is not. But if I am slightly inside, see the pain occurs, whole area gets filled up, some gas-like thing. Lucky if it comes down, then there is no pain. When you open the eyes, the pain is gone.
Ah.
We practice it for nearly about 45 minutes to about an hour, depending on how you move. So I just wanted to ask you, is it the witness part which is causing it? Is it that I am using the frontal portion? Or is it the...
All this happens because of the flow of the spiritual energy. Spiritual energy. That's what I told Kundalini Shakti. It is because of the flow of that energy you get the pain. Even Sharda Devi, she told somebody, same thing, the question was put to her. He was feeling completely restless. He could not continue meditation, concentrating here anymore. Then in his case, mother said, stop meditation for some time. Do it after 1 month. Again start it. Then she also suggested, instead of doing there, you concentrate here on the chest, on the heart center. Like that. So it depends upon individual persons, and you have to find out yourself what is convenient to you. Accordingly, you should follow that method. That's one way. Another way is to ask your spiritual master and follow his directions.
And mother said, sorry.
Yeah.
As you suggested, the mother said avoid this.
Yeah.
I gave up for about 7 to 8 days. Again it started. It is gone.
That's true. Mother has said that. It is a fact.
It is gone.
Yeah.
I just saw it. Because Master told me to avoid this.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with where you position yourself as a witness when the whole thing is occurring. It is linked with that.
That is very... See, the pain comes because of the concentration. Because of the... Witness means, again, how the witness is possible? On account of the total concentration, witness is possible. Is it not? How do you feel?
Yeah, excuse me. And our master, they said you don't have to concentrate at all.
Then?
What you do is that the bhavana of concentration has to be forgotten in jhana, and you We should lay our star around here. There is everything around should be potent.
That means you make the mind blank, huh? Mind you make blank.
In fact, you become absolutely blank. You do not know about the body, you do not know what's happening around. You're more or less sleeping, but you are awake.
Yeah.
This has been troubling.
Anyway, it is because of the whatever the experiences you get, all the experiences pass through your own nerves, the nervous system. So it depends upon the strength of the nerves also. So we can't clearly pinpoint what was the reason for that. That's the point. Any more questions? Yeah.
The realization or the knowledge was given by Ramakrishna to Vivekananda in a spur of a moment. Buddha got realization after years and years of wandering in a short time, one night when he was asleep under a Bodhi Vriksha. Does the spiritual awakening or does the realization occur in a spur of a moment, or is it a gradual process which occurs slowly?
No, the spiritual unfoldment is to be achieved by the individual doing sufficient spiritual practices. In case of Vivekananda, the case is different. First of all, of course, if Sri Ramakrishna wanted, by touch he can transform. The spiritual master has the power, by touch, by glance, by looking, one can give awakening. But generally, they won't accelerate the movements of the spiritual aspirant. They want the spiritual aspirant to do little struggle. And but they give guidance, do like this, they lead you, do like that, etc. Not simply making him, touch him and make him realize it's over. God doesn't want to do that. He can do, if he wants, the whole world can be done in a seconds. So, Vivekananda, because Swamiji Sri Ramakrishna himself said Vivekananda was one of the rishis whom he called to come to help his mission in this life. He wanted to be sure who is this Vivekananda was, so he touched him and found out what he was, who he was, etc. And moreover, who can bear the touch of Sri Ramakrishna? Do you think it is easy? Spiritual, Sri Ramakrishna, the great spiritual master, Vivekananda, the great spiritual disciple. Great master and great disciple, both were great. So it depends upon persons. Not spur of the moment. Not spur of the moment. One must have done spiritual practice sufficiently. It's only when you attain the purity of mind, you get God. Yeah.
Same thing with Jesus. Man must deserve, or his body must be capable of taking the power.
Yeah.
Then only he does.
Yeah. Otherwise it will burst. It will burst. It cannot contain. Spiritual power is like that. I think I should stop.